Hello everyone, I'm CJ Wellman. Please don't forget to subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. It's the holy month of Ramadan, which means Muslims around the world are called upon by their Islamic faith to donate whatever they can to charitable causes. And as studies have shown time and time again, nobody gives more to charity than Muslims. In fact, British Muslims alone give more than £100 million to Islamic charity organisations every Ramadan. These funds are used to deliver food and other forms of humanitarian aid to the downtrodden, including the homeless, refugees, and victims of war and natural disasters. But somehow, this much-needed aid threatens the strategic interests of anti-Islamic forces around the world, who are now escalating their decade-long war against Islamic charity organisations. For years, Arab dictatorships with the help of Israel and Western governments have falsely accused Islamic charity organisations of essentially operating as funding fronts for terrorism and violent jihadist groups, despite a total absence of evidence to support their allegations. But here's what you need to know. These Arab regimes view Islamic charity to be a form of Islamic unity, and they perceive Islamic unity to be an existential threat to their regimes. Their latest target being the charity group Islamic Relief Worldwide, which is the largest religious-based charity in the world, now operating in 45 countries and delivering humanitarian aid to the world's most vulnerable people. Its reputation for saving people from starvation, disease, and exposure is beyond reproach. But this hasn't stopped the Emirati government, which is one of the most vicious anti-Muslim regimes on the planet, from launching a smear campaign against Islamic Relief, accusing it of being a front for the Muslim Brotherhood and violent Islamic extremists. You see, when the Emirati regime isn't lending its support to Muslim genocides in Kashmir, Palestine, Yemen, and East Turkestan, it's attacking Islamic institutions that deliver aid to Muslims in these exact same places. But when the Emirati government's line of attack against Islamic Relief Worldwide failed to gain traction in the media, the UAE then falsely accused the charity's director of using anti-Semitic remarks to criticize Israel. Because there's nothing Arab dictatorships love more than coming to the rescue of the Zionist regime, in exchange, of course, for US weapons and intelligence systems. These sordid details are laid out in full in this article by the New Yorker magazine. I encourage you to read it. But this is not the first time Islamic Relief has been targeted with bogus allegations. Remembering that Saudi Arabia and the Sisi regime in Egypt ordered US President Trump to also falsely accuse the charity of supporting terrorist groups and pushing anti-Semitism against Israel. Why? Because after the Egyptian people overthrew the military dictator Mubarak and replaced his regime with the democratically elected Muslim Brotherhood, Arab regimes have become paranoid about anything that looks like Islamic unity. In fact, these regimes believe that the only way they can maintain power over their restive populations is to secularize and de-Islamize the Middle East.
If you ask UAE, Saudi, Jordan, Egypt, Bahrain, what kind of Middle East they want to see 10 years from now, it will be fundamentally opposed to what I think Qatar wants to see 10 years from now. What we would like to see is more secular, stable, prosperous, empowered, strong governments.
Incidentally, he's the same Emirati official who boasted about his involvement in prostitution and human trafficking. But before we go on, we kindly ask you please help us counter injustices in the Muslim world by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellman. You'll be helping us bring these kind of stories to a wider audience. Thank you. Now back to our show. What's important here is that the UK's Charity Commission, along with an independent review into Islamic Relief's funding activities, found absolutely zero evidence that charity has ties to terrorist or extremist groups, with the Commission ultimately concluding that Islamic Relief Worldwide is a highly effective charity that is free of institutional anti-Semitism. It was even named Charity of the Year in 2022. It earned this award because it provides urgent care to the world's most vulnerable people by following the basic Islamic principle of charity.
Carried on our critical work, transforming the lives of more than 13.8 million people. We've been quenching thirsts, protecting the vulnerable, building livelihoods, and educating bright young minds. This is all because of you. Alhamdulillah.
Nevertheless, the baseless allegations have caused reputational harm to Islamic Relief, which in turn has undermined its ability to deliver humanitarian aid to war and disaster zones, therefore bringing further misery and suffering to millions in need. But even worse, Islamic Relief is just one of many Muslim charity organisations that have been targeted by a nexus of Muslim-hating entities during the past decade. Remembering that in 2014, the UK's Telegraph newspaper accused 5 Islamic charities of having links to the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas. These organisations included Muslim Hands, Human Appeal International, Human Relief Foundation, Muslim Aid and Islamic Relief. The Telegraph's allegation was so damaging that the UK government cut its funding to these charities and ordered banks to freeze their bank accounts.
Our payments that go out to these countries are actually very, very critical. A month's delay on a 3-month payment can actually bring work to a grinding halt. And where you're working in emergency zones and that money is destined for food parcels, it's destined for medicines, basic medicine or refugee camps, what have you, it actually can cost lives.
But after an investigation was conducted into the Telegraph's reporting, it was revealed that its allegations against these Islamic charities were based on a single source, a shadowy group called Stand for Peace. Its spokesperson Sam Westrop is an avowed Zionist, who writes for the Gatestone Institute, which is a pro-Israel, anti-Islam website that regularly publishes the far-right Dutch politician Geert Wilders, who was recently found guilty of inciting discrimination against Dutch Moroccans. In 2011, Westrop told the Jewish Telegraph that Arabs in the Middle East possess a mentality of irrational hatred. And more recently he was seen sharing a cocktail with members of the far-right British National Party, including Nigel Farage, who built his political career on demonising Turkish Muslim migrants. Ultimately, each one of his Islamic charities was able to prove their innocence, and no further action was taken by the UK government. But the damage to their reputations has been immense, which has negatively affected their fundraising activities, resulting in more hardships and suffering among the needy. Likewise, Canada-based Islamic charities have suffered a similar fate, after the government ordered a blanket audit in response to false accusations made against them by nefarious actors in the media.
Muslim charities are being unduly targeted as a risk for terrorist financing in Canada, according to a new report from the International Civil Liberties Monitoring Group.
These cases exemplify how Islamic charity organisations are targeted in the media by anti-Islam forces, including Israel, Arab dictatorships and far-right political parties. These bogus allegations are not only ruining reputations, but destroying the lives of people who are in urgent need of humanitarian care. Every attack on the Muslim charity sector causes more death and destruction. The Emirati regime's smear campaign against Islamic Relief is just the latest in this very sad chapter. But I urge you to see past their lies and give whatever you can to reputable Islamic charities, including those mentioned in this episode. Anyway, that's my time for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we kindly ask you please support this endeavour by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellerman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. For now, good night, good morning, wherever you are, and stay blessed.